Welcome everyone. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. Another day, another month, another alleged scam striking Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and his government. This time, Aam Aadmi Party Delhi government has been accused of using the vigilance department to carry out snooping on political rivals in government institutions. The case has been referred to the President's office after a CBI report accused the AAP government of snooping. The CBI, in its report submitted to the Vigilance Department, sought approval from the LG to register a case against Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, under whom this, quote, feedback unit was functioning. The Delhi government has called the move politically motivated, refuting all allegations, but the BJP is up in arms. The party staged a massive protest in the national capital and sought the resignation of Sisodia. Delhi BJP says that not just opposition leaders, this feedback unit was also snooping on journalists, businessmen and senior officers. Did the Aam Aadmi Party blatantly abuse, misuse their power in Delhi government? Was the Vigilance Department effectively turned into an in-house party snooping wing? We'll take those questions to our guests in just a bit, but first a quick detail of what this case is all about. So this feedback unit, as it was termed, FBU, was set up by the Chief Minister soon after coming to power in 2015. Now, this unit was meant to track departments, institutions under Delhi government jurisdiction. The main aim would have been to counter corruption. But CBI, in its preliminary report, says this FBU also snooped on political entities, persons and issues with interest to the Aam Aadmi Party, all political. The CBI also says during 8 months of its active existence, we don't know whether this unit is functioning anymore. This FBU, quote-unquote, investigated as many as 700 cases. And here's the kicker. They say 60% of these 700 cases were political in nature and not really vigilance-related. This charge and subsequent probe that is expected now is going to be very problematic for the Aam Aadmi Party. This goes very much against the grain of what the party says it stands for. I mean, it's the Aam Aadmi Party. In fact, they are now under so many scam-related charges, the very image of the party is under threat. So what are these scams that they've been hit with? And I'm only going by what has happened over the last few years, actually. There are some that they were hit with soon after they came to power, some individual cases, etc. Of course, the biggest one is the liquor gate. Number 2 of the party and the government, Manish Sisodia, is accused of getting kickbacks from liquor barons. Many have already been arrested as far as this case is concerned. There's a DTC bus scam. A probe has been ordered into irregularities in purchase of buses and ignoring the lowest bidder. Then there is the classroom gate, which we discussed very, very much in detail here on Plain Speak. The Delhi government's own vigilance report says that 1,300 crore scam in construction of classrooms and toilets. There's the money laundering case against AAP Minister Satyendra Jain, in which he's been in jail since June 2022. He's in this case also accused of misusing his government position. And then there is this advertisement case that had reared its ugly head once again. Remember, this is an old case where the Aam Aadmi Party was initially asked to return 97 crore rupees. That sum has now increased to 160 crore, 3 crore rupees because of interest. The charge here is that they used public funds for political ads. So the big question we asked today, now another probe is being launched, is set to be launched against the Delhi government. Did they blatantly misuse their power?
केजरीवाल ने एक फीडबैक यूनिट बना दी ऑपोजिशन पार्टीज का, बीजेपी के लोगों का जासूसी कराने के लिए।
सरकार एक व्यवस्था है, सरकार संविधान से चलती है, कानून से चलती है।
आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार के डिप्टी सीएम मनीष सिसोदिया फीडबैक यूनिट के बहाने राजनीतिक नेताओं की जासूसी करते हुए पकड़े गए।
अगर इनको लगता है हम जासूसी कर रहे हैं तो एजेंसीज इनके पास हैं।
Let's go across to the guests who are joining us. Charu Pragya is the BJP national spokesperson. I'm also joined by Karan Verma and Irsan Trivedi, both political analysts. Sanjay Mishra is an Aam Aadmi Party supporter. Umesh Sehgal is former chief secretary in the national capital. Of course, we invited the Aam Aadmi Party. They have refused to join this debate today. But I want to go across to Sanjay Mishra first up. Sanjay Mishra, you know, we played out that bite of Sushil Gupta, the Aam Aadmi Party MP. उन्होंने ये कहा कि अगर कोई हमने स्नूपिंग करी है तो एजेंसीज आपके पास है, लेकिन जैसे ही कोई प्रोब इनिशिएट होती है तो आम आदमी पार्टी ये बोल देती है कि ये तो वेंडेटा है या हमारे खिलाफ साजिश है. वो चार्जेस एक्सप्लेन नहीं करते. अब लिकर गेट हो गया, सत्येंद्र जैन के चार्जेस हो गए, डीटीसी हो गया, बहुत से चार्जेस हो गए. एक्सप्लेन नहीं करते चार्जेस, बस ये बोल देते हैं कि हमारे खिलाफ साजिश है. या तो आप इनवाइट करो एजेंसीज की प्रोब, या फिर आप चार्जेस को डिफेंड कीजिए, एक्सप्लेन कीजिए. संजय मिश्रा.
बिल्कुल 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 होना चाहिए. ठीक उसी तरीके से मैं आपके सवालों का जवाब दूं, लेकिन इसके बारे में कुछ अपनी तरफ से मैं बात रख दूं कि जब प्रधानमंत्री की मौजूदगी में संसद के अंदर संसद सदस्य उनसे सवाल पूछते हैं कि प्रधानमंत्री जी 8 साल के अंदर एक व्यक्ति 600 कुछ नंबर से दूसरे नंबर का व्यक्ति बन जाता है, उससे आपका संबंध क्या है? तब प्रधानमंत्री जी कुछ नहीं बोलते हैं. जब ये देश पूछता है प्रधानमंत्री जी से कि प्रधानमंत्री जी 2013 में आपने देश की जनता के साथ कुछ वायदे करके आप देश में 14 में सत्ता में आए थे, आपको उसके पास कोई जवाब नहीं है. देश ये भी जब पूछता है, संसद सदस्य ये पूछते हैं कि जब आपने 2 करोड़ रोजगार देने की बात की थी प्रधानमंत्री जी,
संजय मिश्रा जी, ये तो सब पॉलिटिकल बिकरिंग है, ये मेरे सवाल का जवाब नहीं है. आम आदमी पार्टी बात पे आ गया. आम आदमी पार्टी ये कहती है कि वो बीजेपी जैसी नहीं है. वो जो ये एक ऐसी पार्टी है जो बहुत प्रोबिटी और एंटी करप्शन के प्लैंक में पावर में आई थी. मैं सिर्फ ये सवाल पूछ रही हूं कि अगर
बिल्कुल ये कौन है? आम आदमी पार्टी है ना.
अगर उनके एमपी कहते हैं कि आपके पास एजेंसीज है, तो जब एजेंसी प्रोब लॉन्च करती है तो उसको वेंडेटा क्यों बोल देते हैं?
हाँ, क्योंकि वो सब तब सवाल उठता है जब 167 केस दर्ज कर दिए जाते हैं और उसमें से मैक्सिमम केस यानी 90% केस खारिज कर देती है कोर्ट. तब सवाल उठता है. तब सवाल उठता है कि जब देश की जनता या दिल्ली के लोग जब कोई बात रखता है अपना, तो प्रधानमंत्री और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की तरफ से एक नया सगुफा लेकर के आया जाता है. क्या अभी इसके पहले क्या क्या आरोप आए हैं? अभी वाइन का आया, शिक्षा का आया, अब ये नया एक सगुफा आया. तो इनका पेगासिस कहां है?
नहीं, ये जो आप लिकर गेट की बात कर रहे हैं, लिकर गेट चीफ सेक्रेटरी की तरफ से इल्जाम आया पॉलिसी पे. जो आप क्लासरूम गेट की बात कर रहे हैं, वो दिल्ली सरकार के खुद के विजिलेंस डिपार्टमेंट ने रिपोर्ट दी है. इस केस में सीबीआई ने एक प्रिलिमिनरी जांच करी है. अब हर चीज को तो नकारा नहीं जा सकता ना. लेट मी ब्रिंग इन द फर्स्ट कमेंट्स फ्रॉम इरसान त्रिवेदी एज वेल. आफ्टर अ पॉइंट in government, your duty is also to explain the charge that is made. And I'm sorry, it does not compare to asking ki why a private individual is doing so well. That's not the same charge that is here. Here the charge is about government itself, something that happened under them, under the cabinet. There needs to be some explanation before a probe is done. It almost seems like the Aam Aadmi Party believes they don't have to explain anything.
Basically, why it is happening that BJP is why Bharatiya Janata Party is so much worried about feedback. I mean, why they are creating just a simple feedback form into oh my God, someone is looking after me, someone is making jasusi on me. I mean,
because the CBI is saying so.
If it is a feedback, if it is a feedback from a public, like Gujarat, people are telling that it's a feedback thing.
No, what are you saying? Irsan, that's not the case at all. The CBI's preliminary report says that they were snooping on political rivals, individuals.
I mean, oh my God, I mean, like, suddenly what has happened to BJP?
This is not sudden.
BJP was
this is actually not sudden. This is from 6 years ago. No, this is not sudden at all.
A lot of CCTV camera footage.
No, for the benefit of my viewers.
CCTV camera footage of Satyendra Jain. They were showing a lot of this questionnaires on Manish Sisodia. And what happened suddenly to Bharatiya Janata Party? Why they are worried about snooping and all this? If they are very much, so-called very good party.
So you are saying that nobody should be worried about snooping anymore?
My only concern is that there should be very much transparency
this is a bit
government.
much. This is a bit
There
much.
should be
Just
transparency on
because the Aam
governance.
Aadmi Party is being accused of snooping, now people should not be worried of snooping only. Let snooping happen on us. ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है.
Can I come in?
Yes, Charu
if
Pragya
we
wants
are
to
not
come in.
having any kind of issue, why we are just worried? Why Bharatiya Janata Party is so worried? They are in power, na? They are in power
But
in
in
national.
Delhi, you are in
Can I
power.
speak now?
This functioned under the Delhi government. What about your power? Yes, Charu Pragya.
Shivani, good evening. And it's funny how something so real, so worrisome and so important has been twisted around again by the opposition. See, the fact of the matter is when you use taxpayers' money for illegal purposes, for snooping literally, for setting up a department which is not doing anything that it was supposed to, instead it is
Now
misusing
Bharatiya Janata Party
officers'
is clubbing both the
powers
things together.
to get inside the lives of political organization, political leaders and whatnot. It is worrisome, and this is not a charge that BJP is putting on you. This is a charge that CBI is putting on you. 1 minute, Shivani, I cannot debate like this. I didn't heckle anyone, and I will appreciate it if people on your panel can maintain basic decency here. If he cannot, he is free to leave, or I will. Because I cannot debate.
It is like you can speak anything. Nobody can argue
when
in
you
front
were
of
speaking, I did not interrupt you. If you want this entire debate to be a heckling match, I will match you for it, and I will make sure you don't speak.
Okay, let Charu finish.
It's
Then
up to
others can
Shivani.
come in. Yes. No, one second, Mr. Trivedi, not like this. Mr. Trivedi, you had your opportunity. You just told the entire viewers, all the viewers, that nobody should be worried about snooping. That is your defense to the charge. You've made your point. Now listen to your opponents. Then I'll come back to you. Yes, Charu Pragya.
Shivani, when you look at the flow of events for Aam Aadmi Party, let's go back and talk about them one by one. Delhi was burning. They said their councillor had nothing to do with it. Court held Tahir Hussain responsible for it. The courts held it, the police investigated it and put it up in the courts. They have a minister who's been behind bars for corruption charges for the longest time. Again, the courts are not giving bail. This is not Bharatiya Janata Party's doing. This is your doing, and it is coming back to bite you. Thirdly, they keep talking about the liquor scam. They say this was a perfect policy, etc. The day investigations opened, we started asking questions. They took a U-turn on it and they took it back. If your policies are so good, why do you need to take it back? Lastly and most importantly, what right do you have to snoop into people's lives, into organizations without any authority? How can you say it and be so blatant about it and say हमारी मर्जी हम करेंगे, आपके पास कुछ छुपाने को नहीं होना चाहिए? भैया आप कौन हैं? आप क्यों करेंगे? And what gives you the right to utilize our money, taxpayers' money, for things like this? See, the fact of the matter is, ये एक वो political party है हाथी की तरह जिसके खाने के दांत कोई और है, दिखाने के दांत कोई और है. प्रेस के सामने आकर they come and they try and distract people's focus. They are the ones where they have their chief minister. Please don't interrupt me when I'm done. I'm sure Shivani.
One by one,
Mr. Trivedi, I do not debate like this. I don't know what kind of shows you are used to, but I don't function like this.
Okay, one by one. Can I just come in? Ihsan, once again. I don't know why you're making this argument, but I'm sorry, but no intelligent person in politics or otherwise is going to buy an argument that snooping is okay. There's a certain mandate that a vigilance department has. Anything over and above that, anything over and above that is illegal. Let me finish. No, 1 second. Charu, 1 second. 1 second.
Last point.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Trivedi, just 1 second. Mr. Trivedi, don't speak ad nauseum over people. 1 second. Mr. Trivedi, I will come to you. You please speak then that there is a certain decorum with which a debate is done. Do not speak ad nauseum over other people, please. Yes, Charu, 30 seconds. I want to come in and add some points here.
Yeah, no, very quickly, Shivani, I also want to say that every time statements are publicly made by the Chief Minister of Delhi, he is found to be wrong repeatedly. Repeatedly, he'll talk about physiotherapy. It turns out to be a inmate accused of rape. You know, it's like the stack of lies have piled up so high now. It was going to fall. There is no two ways about this.
Okay.
And when they say that the CBI cannot investigate this because it happened several years ago, let me tell you, the backlog of investigation on cases in our country is very high. Maybe it's not a number that you understand, but let me explain this to you. As somebody who's a lawyer who's been a part of a lot of legal proceedings, it takes time. And when these investigations come to the front and when the courts are concluding these matters, all your people, every single time without fail, have been found to be guilty.
No, the Aam Aadmi Party says that there are several cases that were filed against their individual members and several of them have been thrown out. That's also true. But I do want to add what Manish Sisodia has said today. And Karan Verma, I'm coming to you with this. I'm just looking at the defenses or the sidestepping of the very serious accusations they have faced, whether it's Liquorgate, Classroomgate, the charges against Satyendra Jain, who continues to be a minister, by the way, and now this case, which, by the way, if this was a charge against any party in Indian politics, would have been a big deal. I wonder why, because it's happening in Delhi, it's not a big deal. But Manish Sisodia this afternoon tweeted and said that BJP is accusing him that since 2015 he's been snooping on them. इतने बड़े बड़े लोग जिनका अस्तित्व ही सीबीआई, ईडी, पेगासस से विपक्षी नेताओं के खिलाफ साजिश कराने पर टिका है, अगर इतने बड़े लोग भी मुझसे डर रहे हैं तो लगता है कि अपन भी मोदी के बराबर हो गए हैं यार. Now all of that is fine, but ultimately somewhere in the government, all of this is government related, this is not party related. Someone in the government has to explain what is going on. There has to be some accountability in governance.
Shivani, when Arvind Kejriwal years ago said that I am an anarchist, he actually meant it. And he's practicing that ever since he took to governance. And this kind of rubbish whataboutery that Mr. Manish Sisodia came up with, the people today are far more intelligent to look through this. Every single case, whether it was the liquor scam, where they flouted the recommendations of their own Dhawan Rai committee. And when an RTI was filed by Ajay Bose, it was clear that a minimum loss of 8 crores per day was incurred. At least 2,000 crores of exchequer money was lost. They had to take back the policy. They don't answer on that. Satyendra Jain, why don't they get relief from the court for Satyendra Jain, who continues to be a minister? Why don't they get the FIR quashed for Vijay Nair, who's in the jail? I mean, all these cases have been flagged, even the snooping one, which, by the way, is a very serious offense. And I wonder, where are those liberals? Where are those freedom of expression activists today? Why aren't they asking AAP what they've done here?
No, by the way, can I add? The Supreme Court has declared privacy a fundamental right in India, by the way.
Absolutely.
And we've got a person supporting the Aam Aadmi Party saying it's okay if you're being snooped upon. What are you so scared about?
So Shivani, I think you were the one who wrote that on Twitter, how to spot a fake liberal. So there you have a fake liberal right away. So the problem, Shivani, is here everything is happening as per law. This was raised by an officer of Delhi's own
Vigilance Department.
Of Vigilance Department, exactly. Yes. So when the law is followed, even in the classroom scam, it was again raised by the Vigilance Department. AAP, despite all this snooping, they feel they are coming to terms with people from their own departments who are raising complaints.
Can I say,
and they have not,
fundamentally, this is a party that believed in probity in politics, right?
Exactly.
This party is supposed to be held to those standards. Forget, you can't shoot off other parties' shoulders and say and use that as a defense.
Shivani, when you have poor defenses, when you lose credibility, all you can do is shout from rooftops.
Okay, let him come in now. Let him come in now. Let both Irsan and Sanjay ji come in. I have to go across to OP cycle in just a bit. Yes, Irsan, 30 seconds, please.
I just want to tell you that, I mean, BJP is, whenever the question to be asked to Narendra Modi, then the Modi sir always says the Congress ne kuch nahi kiya. Now they don't answer about their issues. Now, same things they are, I mean, Bharatiya Janata Party, same thing doing in this, I mean, Delhi government also. I mean, since MCD election, they are trying hard to prove, they are trying to probe Manish Sisodia and all other leaders, but unfortunately they couldn't find anything. So every day they were video propaganda party, and again they have another propaganda. I mean, I just want to ask them one simple question. if somebody asks about feedback, I mean, if you have done something and if somebody asks about your feedback to other person, how it will turn into snooping? Why you are creating everything into snooping?
This man is justifying. This man is justifying an extrajudicial overarching body.
I mean, what is
the mental
agenda of
capacity of this
Bharatiya Janata
gentleman?
Party? Somebody
He is
cannot
justifying
ask about
something.
anything.
Okay.
That is how low the argument has
What they
descended.
have done or what
One by one, please. Okay, you made your point.
Bharatiya
Ihsan's,
Janata
one
Party
second.
in
Ihsan's
Ihsan,
fundamental
can I
point
please
is,
speak?
please lower their audio.
Nothing but the
Ihsan's
corruption.
fundamental
Now it is
point
being
is that this
generated.
is essentially a feedback unit. All it was doing is giving
Now, can I
feedback.
answer this,
That's
Shivani?
not
Can I come
equated
in,
to
Shivani?
snooping.
Can I answer this,
But,
Shivani?
yes, one second. The charge of snooping, sir, is not coming by BJP or by people who are
He
objecting
doesn't
to
get
this
it.
feedback unit. This feedback unit was set up
Yeah.
in 2015. This was first raised by a member of the Vigilance Department.
Correct.
Probe was initiated
Correct.
by the CBI on that complaint. Please understand. I want to bring
He is
in...
not ready to understand.
No, one
Shivani,
second.
he
I want
won't understand.
One second. I want to go bring in OP Sehgal. He hasn't spoken. Apart from the fact that there are now charges of snooping, quote unquote, against political rivals, individuals of interest, and government bodies, etc., coming to light, this very agency, Mr. Sehgal, is said to be outside the bounds of constitutional scheme of governance. There is the Chief Minister tabled this agenda without circulating a cabinet note. The employees were hired on non-existent posts without approval. And there is disregard of financial propriety. So it's not just about what this unit was doing. This very setting up of this unit is under question.
Yes, you see, snooping is something which any government has to do, but it has to be done under guidelines which laid down by law. Now the Home Ministry has this power. You can snoop, you can sort of telephone calls, XYZ. You can do all that, but there is a provision laid down in a particular law. There is a law passed for this. Under the Telecom Act, if you have to tap a telephone. Under various other acts, you cannot act outside the law. Now here, you have a vigilance department, okay? You have an anti-corruption department, okay? Now police is outside the purview of the state government, so they are not like a full state. Police is outside their purviews, anti-corruption comes under the police. So the Supreme Court has also held that anti-corruption will not be part of their of the Delhi government. So it is out of the government. So it could not be an anti-corruption complaint. Anti-corruption department in any case comes into operation only after a case is registered. They cannot start snooping and find out cases. What is the vigilance department trying to do? Because there are various government agencies, let us say the CAG. What does it do? It snoops. It goes into government files and it finds out mistakes and it publishes them. So all that the vigilance department has to do is pick up one of the vigilance reports, a CAG report, and try to find out why that irregularity has been committed, whether there is a corruption involved in that or not.
Yes.
Now what is being done here is wrong on all counts. Number one, the Delhi government has no power to start this sort of thing, snooping. That's with the Home Ministry or with the Ministry of various states. You have the IB, which is set up for this purpose of snooping. Now they operate under certain rules and regulations. Now you suddenly set up something, you create, without creating any posts, you set up 1 crore of rupees apart.
Yeah.
Then what are you doing? And then I don't know all the details. Now you have just mentioned, so I am going by that if such people have been recruited, those rules have been broken. There is a certain procedure to recruit people in the government.
Absolutely.
You can't just pick up anyone.
On top
it is
of that,
not
the initial idea could have been that they're going to trap certain workers or officials of the Delhi bureaucracy, whatever departments come under the Delhi government, trap them if there is any corruption going on. That goes on.
That's just me. I'll come on that point. I'll just take 1 minute on that.
Yeah.
I won't take much time. The point is, this also is a procedure laid down.
Exactly.
How do you trap people? You can't trap people just like that. There has to be a complaint in writing. It has to be to the CBI if it is against a gazetted officer of the central government. It has to be to the anti-corruption department. It can't just started by any individual that you start snooping, I'll catch this corrupt fellow. Sometimes newspapers do it. But then newspapers are a fifth estate. They have also certain rights.
There is
They
a
have
certain different
duties and
element as far as the press
responsibilities.
sting cases are concerned, but obviously government departments cannot function like that. But the point I was making, sir, is that maybe initially you could have
function under
justified
the
it
law.
when you set it up by saying that we want to do this. But the biggest thing is that the CBI has found on a complaint by a member of the vigilance department that actually that's not what was going on. What was going on is that private individuals and political rivals, issues which are more political than of governance, were being snooped upon. Yes, Sanjay Mishra, you wanted to come in. I'll give you 30 seconds before I wrap up. This is something that the party will eventually have to explain. This is serious. संजय मिश्रा, आपसे पूछ रही हूँ.
हाँ, बिल्कुल. मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं, जितनी भी बातें चारू ने अभी कही हैं या जो भी आम आदमी पार्टी के लिए बोला जा रहा है, देखिए सिंपल सी बात है, आपका भी यही सवाल है. आरोप लगे हैं, आरोप हैं, आरोप का जांच कौन करेगा?
सीबीआई करेगी.
जिसको जांच करना है, जांच एजेंसियां हैं, जांच करे, उससे हम कहे नहीं भाग रहे हैं. लेकिन सवाल उठता है, और सवाल क्या है और क्यों विश्वसनीयता खोई है यहाँ की सीबीआई, ईडी या जो भी एजेंसीज हैं. आम आदमी पार्टी बार बार क्यों कहती है, जब आप आम आदमी पार्टी के विधायकों के ऊपर, सांसदों के ऊपर 167 केस दर्ज करते हैं, उसमें से 134 से ऊपर केसेस कोर्ट खारिज कर देता है. सबसे पहली बात, आपने सत्येंद्र जैन को लेकर के आप आए हैं, सत्येंद्र जैन को बेल क्यों नहीं मिल रहा है? बेल कौन देगा? कोर्ट देगा. आज कोर्ट कहता है कि एविडेंस लेकर के आओ, नहीं तो मैं सत्येंद्र जैन को बेल दे दूंगा. आप कोर्ट बदलवा देते हैं. ठीक है, आपकी सरकार है, आप बदलिए. लेकिन मैं एक सवाल करना चाहता हूं शिवानी, क्यों नहीं सरकार के ऊपर मुकुल रॉय और शुभेंदु अधिकारी, दो लोग बंगाल से टीएमसी के लीडर हैं. मुकुल रॉय के ऊपर क्या आरोप लगे थे? वो बीजेपी में आते हैं, आरोप खत्म हो जाता है, वापिस टीएमसी में जाते हैं.
संजय मिश्रा जी, ये सारी बातें आप रख सकते हैं, लेकिन जो आम आदमी पार्टी के ऊपर जो इल्जाम लगे हैं, दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट पे इल्जाम लगे, पार्टी भूल जाइए, पार्टी के इंडिविजुअल्स भूल जाइए, गवर्नमेंट पे जो इल्जाम लगे हैं वो एक्सप्लेन करना जरूरी है. They cannot be wished away by what about it? चारू प्रज्ञा, 30 seconds only, 30 seconds.
आप मेरे को 10 सेकंड दीजिएगा.
जी बोलिए मिश्रा जी.
बिल्कुल 30 सेकंड आप दीजिए, मैं क्लियर करता हूं. आज देश के प्रधानमंत्री के ऊपर आरोप लग रहे हैं, संसद के अंदर आरोप लग रहे हैं,
तो आप भी
उनकी
तो वही कर रहे
उपस्थिति
हैं.
में आरोप लग
तो
रहे हैं.
आपका क्या मॉरल हाई ग्राउंड है? आप भी तो वही कर रहे हैं. आप तो पॉलिटिक्स बदलने के लिए आए थे ना. मैं तो बिल्कुल ऊब गई हूँ ये सुन के कि ये क्या कर रहे हैं, वो क्या कर रहे हैं. आप तो पॉलिटिक्स बदलने के लिए आए थे.
पार्टी शिक्षा,
ये नहीं चलेगा.
रोजगार की बात करती है,
ये नहीं चलेगा. आप जो
भारतीय जनता पार्टी
लगाते हैं,
नहीं कर पा रही है. अरविंद केजरीवाल और आम आदमी पार्टी की देश में बढ़ती लोकप्रियता को भारतीय जनता पार्टी हजम नहीं कर पा रही है. 2024 में अपने सामने अरविंद केजरीवाल को देख करके नरेंद्र मोदी घबरा गए. भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अंदर
टाइम खत्म हो रहा है.
संजय जी, यहाँ पर आप चुनाव में भाषण नहीं दे रहे हैं, मेरी बारी है अब बोलने की. शिवानी, नंबर 1, whenever भारतीय जनता पार्टी accuses Aam Aadmi Party of any scam, we don't do it just because we feel like doing it. We back it with RTI replies which are written by officers working within the Aam Aadmi Party government. So we back it up with facts. Every single time. They cannot get away with it. Secondly, if they are talking about fingers being pointed at our Honorable Prime Minister in Parliament, let me remind him, 18 of those claims were already found to be fake, false and a lie. Rahul Gandhi lied on the floor of the House, and he's here on national television.
I can't get into that debate. I can't get into that debate at all. I'll give 10 seconds to Karan and me only, please. Karan.
You know, the AAP supporter just said that the court is not giving him relief. I am quoting the court right now, the magistrate court saying, Satyendra Jain prima facie has criminal antecedents.
Okay.
तो सर थोड़ा पढ़ लीजिए. prima facie कोर्ट ने कहा है सत्येंद्र जैन के क्रिमिनल काम है. अगर आपने इतना दम है, FIR कोर्ट करिए, कोर्ट से रिलीफ लेके आइए.
All right, leaving it at that. Fundamentally, this debate is not about Satyendra Jain or the other previous cases. It is about what is lying in store now for the Delhi government. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Moving on.